Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the digestive system. Before we start, let's have a little introduction in what is this system. Our digestive system is responsible for transporting, secreting, absorbing, and excreting all wastes we have in our body. Have you ever wondered which is the process in which the food you eat turns into feces? Your digestive system breaks nutrients into small parts enough for your body to absorb and use for energy, growth, and cell repair. First, it enters your body, then you swallow the food and relaxes in the stomach. Its juices start to act, and then the food previously eaten turns into feces ready to be expelled from your body. Parts of the digestive system. First, we have the mouth, also called the oral cavity. In addition to being the entryway to the digestive system, also takes on functions of emotional expressions such as smiling and yawning. Our mouth contains 32 teeth that are classified in 4 groups. We have the incisors that are 8 teeth, are the front ones. We have the canine, there are 4 teeth. We have the premolars that are 8 teeth, and we have the molars that are 12 teeth. Then we have the tongue. The tongue is another organ located in the oral cavity, and it's made up of 17 muscles. The tongue carries out the function of articulating words, perceiving flavors, moistening the mouth, and pushing chewed food towards the esophagus, like swallowing. Then we have the pharynx. Once the food has been chewed, the tongue pushes it towards the pharynx. This process is known as swallowing. The mass of food that has been chewed mixed with saliva is called the alimentary bolus or cud. Passing through the pharynx, a piece of cartilage called epiglottis acts as a valve closing the larynx, preventing the cud from passing through the airway and directing it towards the esophagus. Then we have the esophagus. This is a muscular organ that is cylinder-shaped and connects the pharynx to the stomach. A series of muscular contractions called peristalsis delivers food to the stomach. The esophagus has 2 sphincters control. First, we have the upper esophageal sphincter that is located at the point where the pharynx and the esophagus meet. And then we have the lower esophagus sphincter, located at the point where the esophagus and the stomach meet. Then we have the stomach. Passing through the lower esophageal sphincter, the cud arrives at the stomach, the largest and most important organ of the digestive system. This organ is located below the diaphragm and is slightly oriented towards the left side of the abdomen. The stomach is the container, and it holds food while it's being mixed with enzymes that continues the process of breaking down food in a small form. Then we have the small intestine. Once the chyme passes through the pylorus, it arrives at the first part of the small intestine, also called duodenum, where the chyme is mixed with pancreatic juices and bile. It connects the stomachs to the large intestine, and its main function is to absorb nutrients and some vitamins, and to take them to the blood so they can expand in all our body. Contents of the small intestine starts out semi-solid and ends in a liquid form as after passing through all the organ. Liver. It has multiple functions, but its main is within the digestive system. It's to absorb the nutrients from the small intestine. Then we have the pancreas. Secretes digestive enzymes into the duodenum. These enzymes breaks down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. The pancreas also makes insulin, secreting it directly to the bloodstream. Then we have the large intestine. After passing through the entire small intestine, the food content arrives to the large intestine, which is also called the colon. However, the large intestine absorbs electrolytes such as sodium and potassium through its intestinal villi. It also absorbs the remaining quantity of water, leaving the gastric content dry enough to be converted into feces. And last but not least, we have the rectum. This is the last section of the digestive system, located after the sigmoid colon of 15 centimeters in length. This area is where the feces pass through to be expelled through the anus. The rectum receives stools from the colon to let the person know that there are stools to be evacuated and hold the stool until evacuation happens.
Parts of the oral cavity. First, we have the taste buds. These ones are sensory organs that allow you to perceive different flavors that are categorized as sweet, salty, acid, bitter, sour, and umami. There are 4 types of taste buds. First, we have circumvallate papillae. These are the receptors of the bitter flavors. These are found near the base of the tongue. Next, we have the foliate papillae. These have small lingual mucosa that are poorly developed. These are located on the top and side parts of the tongue. Next, we have the filiform papillae. These have thermal and tactile function. It has a cylinder shape and it has a crown. Last, we have the fungiform papillae. These have a shape of a mushroom. These are receptors of the sweet flavors. Next, we have the saliva. This is a colorless liquid of aqueous or mucus consistency. Its main function is to begin the chemical digestion of food by motion and eat. Saliva is produced by salivary glands, and it's estimated that we produce between 1 and 1.5 liters of saliva daily. The major salivary glands are parotid gland. This one is located on the side of the jaw in front of the ear. Next, we have the submandibular gland. This one has the size of a nut and it's located on the floor of the mouth. Next and last, the sublingual gland. This one is the smallest in volume and weight.
Parts of the stomach. Number 1, cardia, the place where the esophagus meets the stomach. Number 2, fundus, the top part of the stomach, where the accumulation of gas is produced, which can be seen on X-rays of the abdomen. 3, body. This is the wettest part of the stomach, and this is the part that takes up the majority of this organ. 4, antrum. This is a narrowing area as it is the portion of the stomach that comes before the pylorus. Number 5, pylorus. This is the place where the stomach and the first portion of the small intestine meet. Layers of the stomach. Number 1, mucosal layer. This layer cuts inside of the stomach and is in direct contact with the alimentary bowels. It also protects the stomach from being damaged by gastric juice. This layer has an irregular shape as it forms internal folds called gastric folds on the walls of the stomach. Within this layer are many cells that secrete special stomach enzymes in order to carry out chemical digestions. Number 2, submucosal layer. The blood vessels that irrigate the stomach and the nerves that innervate the stomach are found in this layer. 3, muscular layer. This layer is made of 3 different muscles oriented in the different directions. They offer elasticity and movement to the stomach in order for it to carry out mechanical digestions. Number 4. Serosa layer. Made up of mainly adipose tissue. It lines up the side of the organ, providing it with external lubrication and protection.
Parts of the digestion. Mechanical digestion. The stomach works like a flexible bag as it is able to expand and shrink. Internal medium. External. Thanks to these muscle contractions, the alimentary bolus mixes with the gastric juices and moves towards the pylorus. Chemical digestion. Many cells are situated in the internal walls of the stomach, specifically in the mucosal layer. These cells release different enzymes and acids known as gastric juices in order to decompose the food into smaller pieces to facilitate digestion. The gastric juices are an aqueous liquid containing mainly hydrochloric acid. This is a highly corrosive clear liquid. It is released in our stomach to decompose food, and its acidity helps to keep the stomach clean. Pepsin and trypsin, necessary for the digestion of proteins. Gastric lipase, necessary for the digestion of fats. Intrinsic factor promotes the absorption of vitamin B12, which is needed to form red blood cells and to maintain the central nervous system. Bicarbonate. This is an antacid that regulates the pH in the stomach. Without this antacid, the HCl will dissolve the gastric walls. Parts of the small intestine. Duodenum. With a length of 25 centimeters, the duodenum makes up the first portion of the small intestine. Once the food leaves the stomach, they arrive at the duodenum to begin a new process of digestion. Brunner glands. These are microscopic tubular glands made up of the submucosa from the duodenum. The main function of the Brunner's glands is to produce alkaline secretion rich in mucus.
Parts of the small intestine. Jejunum is the second part of the small intestine and measures 2.5 meters in length. This part of the small intestine carries out the function of absorbing nutrients derived from proteins. Ileum. This is found after the jejunum and is the third and last part of the small intestine. Measurement 3 to 4 meters in length. It is responsible of absorbing vitamins and especially vitamin B12. It also absorbs biliary salts that were released in the duodenum to reuse them in the digestion process. It also absorbs all the products that were not absorbed by the jejunum. The ileum also has intestinal villi. However, these are smaller in the size than those found in the jejunum.
Accessory organs of digestion. Liver. It is located on the right side of the abdomen just below the diaphragm and is protected by the ribs. This is the most voluminous mucus in the human body, measuring 26 centimeters in length and 8 centimeters in height. Its main functions are detoxification of the blood, production of the bile, production of proteins, and metabolism drugs. The bile. This is a liquid substance that is a dark yellow or green color. It is released the duodenum acting as an emulsifying fat, and there is too much fibrin in the bile. The gallbladder stores and concentrates bile and then releases into the duodenum to help absorb the digested fat. Gallstones are hard deposits that are formed within the gallbladder. These are two main types of these stones: gallstones composed of cholesterol and gallstones composed of bilirubin. The gallstone composed of cholesterol
which are the most common type, and the gallstones composed of bilirubin, which are also called pigment gallstones. These are present when the red blood cells are being destroyed.
Pancreas. The pancreas has two main functions, exocrine function and the endocrine function. The exocrine cells of the pancreas produce enzymes that helps with digestion. The endocrine involves the production of hormones that are produced in one part of the body to circulate in the bloodstream. What should we eat more often? We have prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics, they are found in food like vegetables and fruit, especially those that contain carbohydrates such as fiber and starch. But these carbohydrates are not digested by the body. Since it becomes food for the bacteria of the microorganism. It has a long list of food that contains them, such as sweet potato, onions, asparagus, leek, among others. And then we have probiotics. Probiotics are different bacteria that are added to population of bacteria in the gut. They can be consumed through food. One of the most common is yogurt, since it is fermented with different types of bacteria.